Welcome into Around the Felt. I am your host, Reagan Loescher. Here with me today is my co-host, Colin Tong, and we got episode number 51. Hey, can you believe it? We're already in the championship round, man. It's wild. Is crazy.
You know, it's an exciting time, but it's also a sad time because we only have 3 more football games to watch for the rest of the year, Reagan. But
well, you don't count the Pro Bowl? I mean, that's some serious football.
I don't know why you have a weird obsession with the Pro Bowl. They play flag football, my friend.
Hey, man, I just like football.
That's fair.
Is that a crime?
It's not a crime.
Gonna throw me in handcuffs, throw me in jail?
Oh, man, it's not what came to mind first, but yeah, we got a packed house today. We got Drock, we got Joe, we got Caleb. We're ready to roll. Some breaking news just came down before we started recording. Jim Harbaugh is officially the next head coach of the Chargers. Reagan, did you see this coming? And what is your outlook for the Chargers next season?
No, I mean, I didn't think that was going to happen, but I guess with maybe the Antonio Pierce to the Raiders, it ended up happening. I'm kind of shocked. I thought he was going to stay in Michigan. But honestly, hey, it can't be any worse than it was with Staley. You know what I mean? I think this is huge for Justin Herbert's upside. And it'll be interesting in the AFC. Maybe we'll get some Harbaugh matchups come playoff time. Because I'd imagine that is a team that will be in the playoffs next year, or at least be close to it. Because on paper, they are stacked.
Absolutely. Talent-wise, they're definitely there. In the loaded AFC with all the star quarterbacks, it seems like, most of them. You got Justin Herbert, who's a top 5 quarterback. Definitely in the AFC, arguable for the league. So with Jim Harbaugh coming in, hopefully he gets that defense honed down because they have way too much talent to be picking 5th overall like they are this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was reported yesterday by Josina Anderson that they were in contract negotiations. But apparently he spoke to the Falcons again today and ultimately signed with the Chargers, man.
Yeah, and I saw there was a chance Pete Carroll was going to go to the Chargers, so I guess
I saw that
a lot of the
too,
coaching dominoes are starting to fall, so it'll be interesting. Does Belichick end up going to the Falcons now? I mean,
yeah, I think it's got to be full court
press.
Dominoes
Dominoes are starting to fall. I mean, the Patriots filled theirs with Mayo, Titans filled theirs, Chargers, Raiders.
Brought back Antonio Pierce. That seems to be it right now.
4 filled
A lot of teams were slow playing it. I feel like Harbaugh was a big domino, and Belichick's got to be the next one to fall.
I imagine some teams are waiting to see if Philly and Buffalo do end up firing their coaches, which it sounds like Philly will not. But
Philly's
there's
not.
Still a chance Buffalo does. So maybe some coaches are holding out because obviously that's a very attractive job if they do end up firing Sean McDermott.
Speaking of Buffalo, I don't think they're going to let go of McDermott, but Brandon Beane, their GM, spoke today about Joe Brady and the job that he did when he took over as the offensive coordinator. And he says he's in strong consideration to have the full-time job next year because when he took over,
I figured.
How is he not going to get the job?
I'm surprised he even came out and said anything. Like, I just assumed he would keep the job.
They won how many games in a row when he took over?
And the offense was obviously humming.
It was way more balanced. You know, it wasn't just relying on Josh Allen to be Superman. You had James Cook become a huge factor down the stretch, more so than he was previously. So I can't imagine that he's not going to be the OC next year. And that means that I think McDermott will be back as well. Speaking of those Eagles coaches, we already mentioned they fired their defensive coordinator. Their offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson, will not be returning in 2024 We felt like they were going to let go of both coordinators.
So 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Coordinators.
So
different reasonings behind it, but 2 years in a row. What are they going to be looking on for new coordinators?
Very interesting. New voices in that locker room are needed, though, considering how they finished the season. All right, let's talk injuries now, Reagan, heading into this weekend. Chiefs guard Joe Thuney has not practiced this week with a pec injury, which for an offensive lineman, a pec injury is brutal. They're saying he has an outside chance to play, but he's going to do everything he can to play.
I don't even know what that, I feel like that's something that's hard to tough it out, because every play, you're using you know what I mean? Like,
every play is a bench press. As an offensive lineman, every play is a bench press.
I know, so there's really no way to tough it out or limit it. Unless there's some sort of padding or something. But that's I don't think there's anything you can do outside of pain tolerance.
Yeah, it'll be. That'll be a huge loss considering the Ravens have the most sacks in the league this season.
Yeah, their front's been going crazy.
And the Chiefs have been doing a great job protecting Mahomes in this playoff run thus far without an elite guard. Definitely hurts their chances. But I don't know. I hope he plays because you want every team in full strength at this time of the year. But
we saw when Mahomes had some offensive lineman injuries in that Super Bowl against the Bucs when he had no time.
He was running for his life, man. Running for his life.
When the O-line hasn't looked great, struggle in the playoffs. So.
Yep, Debo did not practice today either, Reagan. I think he'll play. I think he'll tough it out, but it's a shoulder. The style that he likes to play, being one of those receivers that can almost play running back as well, his type of build and how he runs through tackles, might limit his upside for Sunday. What do you think? Do you think Debo plays?
I mean, I hope he does. Obviously, I think without him, it's obviously a huge blow to the offense. And, I mean, he had a bigger role with this offense, obviously, before McCaffrey got there. But they still do like to give him some jet sweeps, and he'll occasionally line up in the backfield. So it's hard to say, like, if we'll toughen it out or not. And obviously, like, the 49ers are heavily favored, and I feel confident whether he plays or not that they will get it done. But we can get into that more later on. But
I hear you.
But, I mean, you'd imagine he'd want to play because he's such a big factor.
Yeah, I mean, when the Niners are at full strength, they're lethal. They struggled a little bit last week with the weather without Debo playing for most of that game. The Detroit secondary is not good, so the more weapons you can have, the better. I feel like Ayuk and Kittle are still going to do their thing this week against that secondary, but having Deebo Samuel certainly does not hurt. The Dolphins and defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, one of the more well-respected defensive coordinators in the league, mutually agreed to part ways after one season. This was kind of surprising to me. I understand Vic Fangio is a little older now. I think he's in his mid-60s.
Yeah,
but
he's been on a lot of teams.
Surprising to me, Reagan, because their defense kind of faltered at the end of the season, but they had so many injuries. Xavier Howard, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. I mean, it'll be interesting to see who they get to fill that role.
I mean, it's a very attractive job. They get a lot of guys there. So
yeah, they have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. It's also Miami. Who doesn't want to coach in Miami, you know? And another defensive coordinator gone. The Packers fire Joe Barry. This one I felt like we saw coming, but it almost seemed like he's almost saved his job at the end of the season. I don't know.
Definitely, I thought there was a chance he'd keep his job just because they did have a great turnaround, and like in the playoffs, they were playing pretty good defense. I mean, they were hanging with the 49ers. They kind of slowed down that offense all game for the most part, or the best you can. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, because the 49ers ended up putting up 24. 24. Okay, so still 24 points, it is a lot of points, but when you look at the team they did it against, it's like, all right. And then obviously they shut down Dallas for the whole entire game, and then they got some garbage time points. But yeah, I'm a little shocked, but it was expected.
Yeah, I just feel like the inconsistency throughout the season is what led to him getting fired, because all the first-round picks that are on that defense, they should never be getting lit up by the likes of Tommy DeVito and I mean, I don't want to say Baker because Baker did turn it on, but they had backup quarterbacks shred them.
And I think that's kind of the biggest thing to look back at it. It's like, you can step up against a big competition, but then you can't figure out a guy like Tommy DeVito, even Baker, because he's good and that offense is good, but it ain't the level of the 49ers or the Cowboys.
Absolutely not, man. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like that was a warranted firing. Too much talent in that defense to be that inconsistent. All right,
I have a feeling he'll get picked up too. Somebody will pick him up.
Probably. Maybe not as a DC right away, but... All right, Drock, that wraps up the news. What do you got for questions?
All right, we're starting with Austin.
What's up, Austin?
Austin!
His first question is, who is the best heading into this weekend?
The best?
Best team, sorry.
I would say the Ravens. I mean, they beat the 49ers, and on paper, they're better than any of the other teams. So I'm not saying, at the end of the day, they don't Patrick Mahomes, but in my opinion, they are the best team right now, and we've already seen them beat the 49ers in San Francisco, so...
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to argue against the Ravens right now. Statistically, where they rank, number 1 defense in the league, number 2 offense, tough to top that. And they're healthy. They're getting healthier while everyone else is getting more hurt.
Yeah.
Along the offensive line for Kansas City and Detroit, and the Niners having a compromised Debo.
And
Baltimore's getting back Mark Andrews.
And I don't think you could say the 49ers after they almost lost to the Packers last week.
Yes.
And I mean, the Chiefs, they handled the Dolphins, and the Bills game was very close. And then you look at the Lions, and while they handled business against the Bucs, they let them hang around for a while, and then the Rams game was super close. So I think right now the Ravens are the best team on paper and look the most complete, and like you said, they're getting healthy at the right time.
I have a good stat that I don't want to waste it now because it's in my analysis later,
but
it's on Baltimore, and it backs up that argument, so stay tuned, Austin. You'll hear something else.
Austin.
All right, his next question is, does Kirk Cousins go to the Falcons next season if Bill is the coach, or does he stay as a Viking?
I don't know if the coach necessarily matters.
I think having Bill Belichick definitely makes it more intriguing.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps, but I think at the end of the day, it comes down to if he wants to move his family and go out there. Because the Vikings, the fans love him, and if they offer him a contract, I mean, they got a good system there, so it would be I would honestly say it's a lateral move. I mean, I guess if you get Belichick, like you have that historic coach, but we've actually never seen him be successful without Brady. So then you get into that whole debate. So I'm not going to discredit Belichick, but without Belichick, it's kind of a lateral move to me. So I don't see why he would make the lateral move unless they're offering him much more guaranteed money and a better contract.
I might be wrong with this, but I feel like I saw something towards the trade deadline that mentioned that either him or his wife has family in the Atlanta area.
The only time I've heard that was from you.
Yeah, I think I saw that before the deadline, but don't quote me on it. But that could be a factor. Yeah. I feel like if it's not Minnesota, it's probably Atlanta. If not Atlanta, I don't think he goes anywhere else. I think it's those two teams that make the most sense.
Other jobs.
I mean, I can't imagine him going to Pittsburgh.
What about Washington?
Washington,
I don't know, just because it's like
they're taking a quarterback.
But also, like,
two.
I feel like if he's gonna leave, a lot of it's gonna be like he wants to compete too. Because I mean, he's a guy that hasn't really done much.
He's also 35 years old now.
Yeah,
34.
I mean, it would be cool to see the Washington reunion, but
they're taking a quarterback at 2.
I mean, Pittsburgh though, that is interesting.
Pittsburgh is interesting because if you want the best opportunity to win next year, Pittsburgh probably is.
You're already guaranteed to have a winning record.
Basically, like they're more, but also at the same time, like that's a very difficult division. Where if you go to the NFC South, which was the worst division in football this year, you have a much more likelihood to win it and be in the dance.
Yeah, that's true.
Pros and cons.
Very, very good question, buddy.
Now, George Kittle got our questionnaire. So
is that Kenny?
Pop-Tart.
It's George Kittle right now.
Kenny is naming himself George Kittle because he hit George Kittle on the wheel on his first spin ever in the wheel.
He's got the lock emoji next to George Kittle.
Wow.
His first question is, which team do you believe has the best chance of going on the road and pulling off the upset this week? Chiefs.
I mean, yeah.
It's got to be the Chiefs. I mean,
they have Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Like, what else do you need? I mean, if you want to talk numbers, like, clearly the spread is double for Detroit than it is Kansas City. Also, I don't know if you guys saw, but the referee. Everyone's talking about the referee that, like, home teams win at, like, a 40% clip with this ref, where the league average is, like 65 and also, or 55 or something.
And also, Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's all, like, honestly.
Patrick Mahomes, the man that's 9-1-1 against the spread as an underdog. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
They also match up a lot better with Baltimore than Detroit does with San Francisco.
Now he's got a betting question for us. If you believe the Chiefs or Lions will win this weekend, would you consider taking the Super Bowl line with an opportunity to hedge, like during the Super Bowl?
I mean, you're probably not going to hedge on the Chiefs because I think they're like plus 350 or 400, so you probably wouldn't hedge on that. I mean, the Lions definitely...
You could, though, hedge. Like, let's say you throw 100 on the Chiefs, and they probably open up, like, I don't know, maybe 3-point dogs against the Niners if they were.
I mean, it depends how much you throw. If you're trying to find that arbitrage where you can't lose anything and you hedge and make money, like you're gonna have to bet big enough that it makes sense, and then you gotta like actually win this week. It's just tough. Otherwise, if you can hedge and make like $5-10 bucks,
that's what I was gonna say.
Would make sense.
The Lions 100% because they're like plus 700, 800, so that'll definitely be hedgeable odds. The Chiefs, I don't think you will because you're gonna be feeling yourself, and then they're gonna be like, oh, like. I mean, if they're playing the Lions, you're probably definitely not going to hedge.
Because if they play Detroit, they're going to be favored.
And if they're playing San Fran, I think
it's still going to be a tight spread.
I think they're going to be like
3.5.
I'd imagine it'd be between 3 and 4.
Yeah, they might even give it 3 because it's Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Like, and if they're 3.5 dogs, no, actually, it's going to be it'll be like it's a neutral site, so it'll be close to even odds.
Yeah, I put it at 3.5 though.
Yeah, I think it'll be like 1.5 underdogs against the 49ers. I think the line will be because it's a
Kansas
neutral
City.
site.
Kansas City, you think could be
underdogs? Plus 1.5 against the Niners, and then if it's the Lions, they'll be minus. 3.5. Yeah, I'd say minus.
I would
3.5.
say 3.5 is like the line for Vegas, definitely for the Super Bowl. That's what it was last year.
And then if it's the Niners and Ravens, I think it's going to be even odds. I think it's going to be a pick'em.
All right, let's up to Jerry.
What up, Jerry?
Jared Crampton.
What's up, Cran? Apple.
His first general question is, what is your favorite matchup inside a matchup this weekend? He's got a lot here. Jesus.
You stumped Trock. Good job.
He literally just named every position.
Yeah.
That's basically what he did.
Favorite matchup within the game.
His best one is quarterback versus weather. Running back versus linebacker. Offensive lineman versus defensive lineman. Wide receiver versus cornerback.
I mean, running back versus linebacker. It'll be interesting to see how Greenlaw and Fred Warner versus the Lions' awesome running game. That'll be interesting. I'm leaning on the side of the Lions that they'll have the better running game. So I think that'll win out. I still think the Niners win the game, but I lean more with that running game, but that's one that speaks to me.
The biggest one for me that I'm looking forward to, and it's the X factor in this game, is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs receivers against that Ravens secondary. Arguably the top secondary in football, the number one defense this year. Can those young bucks at receiver step up and make the plays necessary? It can't just be Kelsey and Rashee. They need more help, right? And if you don't have Joe Tooney up front, that pass rush will be coming in a little bit quicker. So
Also,
if the Chiefs are going to win, they need to get that passing game going.
And there's Willie Gay is questionable right now, and he's by far like the fastest linebacker they have and best with the QB spy. So if he is to not play,
Lamar's going to be
that's going to change the personnel completely.
Lamar's going to be scampering.
I think that if he's healthy, that's also an interesting matchup as him as a QB spy versus Lamar and how that works
And
out.
that hurts their coverage with Andrews coming back. And if they want to go 2 tight end sets with Likely and Andrews, you have a mismatch with one of them.
I'd say it's likely to happen that they run those formations.
Hey.
Cornball.
Now he's got a fantasy question for us, which I believe is the best keep, trade, cut question in history.
Wow.
For
Listen.
Dynasty, JSN, London, or T. Higgins?
JSN,
Keep, trade,
London,
cut.
and T. Higgins.
I mean, for me, I'm cutting T just because the other guys are so much younger right off the bat. And then it comes down to London or JSN.
What is T, 25?
I don't think he's that old, brother.
He's still going on his contract. He's not on the second. Well, JSN's going into year 2. London's going into year 3.
I think London's the youngest.
T is going
Then
into
it's
year
JSN,
5.
Then it's T.
Higgins, 25.
He's going into year
he's
5.
25.
London,
So-
I believe, is 22.
He
is.
Now, there's a lot of uncertainty with all 3 guys, so that
That's
definitely
good.
makes
This
it
is
a
a
good
good one.
question because where's T going to go? Is it
Especially
going
after
to
the
be
year
because
that
if
he
T
had.
goes to the Panthers, like, are you happy about that? No. Like, he's going from Joe Burrow to the worst offense in the league, or I guess second. I don't even know.
All right, give it to
who
me.
is worse.
Keep, trade, cut.
So, I think I will keep JSN. I will trade Drake London, and then I will cut T. And the reason I'm so high on JSN is I think Lockett will be out of there sooner than later, and I think JSN is more talented than DK Metcalf and has a much higher upside. So I think he will become that number 1, and I also feel like there's a chance down the road that DK is to leave the team because he just seems like the type of the guy where if he doesn't like the new head coach, like he'll be out. So I feel like, and it really depends because we don't know who the coach is going to be of. There's so much uncertainty. That's honestly a good question. 'Cause we don't know who's
such a
see,
good
I'm
question.
stumped. I don't
who's the
know
Seattle
because
coach,
Such
who's
a
the
good
Atlanta
question.
coach? Because if Belichick comes into Atlanta, like,
who's the Atlanta quarterback? You know,
Well, that-
like
yeah.
I like Drake London as a player, but
And you
who's
could say
throwing
that-
him the ball?
and you could say the same thing for Seattle. Like, they can cut
Geno
ties from
Smith
Geno
going to be
this
there
year.
long term? No, and
Well,
I
that's
don't believe
another-
in Geno.
Going back to Kirk, that's a dark horse place you could go to is Seattle.
Seattle's interesting
Dark
as
horse.
well. Yeah, I mean, but I like T. Higgins. But
Trade him.
is he going
Trade
to
him.
be in Cincinnati? He was inconsistent this year. Granted, not a lot of Joe
Injury-
Burrow this
and
year.
also, he's injuries. He always is dealing with something throughout the year.
Which
misses a
one would
few
I
games.
have? All right, I'm gonna keep JSN. I'm gonna trade T. Higgins, and I'm gonna cut Drake London. But it's a tough one, man.
It's a good one.
That's a good one.
Some would say the best keep
I
trade
think,
cut of
I
all
think that
time.
was definitely the best.
got a good punishment.
He's got a great punishment, but we're not there yet. He's got a betting question for us. What is your favorite prop going to this weekend?
My favorite prop. I like Mark Andrews to score in his first game back.
Ooh.
He scored 8 touchdowns before he got hurt. And Isaiah Likely's been scoring like a maniac while Andrews has been out. Also, if Willie Gay's out, that limits their ability to stop the tight ends. I think Andrews is going to be plus money. It's sneaky. Also, I think the Niners pass catchers, if there's no Debo, I think Ayuk bounces back this week. No, he screwed me last week, man, but I do think he bounces back this week.
Yeah, we're going to get off that wave.
So I like Lamar rushing yards, especially if Willie Gay does not play. And then I like Montgomery rushing yards in the second game.
All right, now he's got the best punishment idea in around the felt history.
All right, hold
This
on.
is a good
Hold
one.
on.
What? Sorry.
We gotta stop gassing up Jerry.
He's got
Dave,
phenomenal
this is
questions.
Dave.
That's
You got-
fine. I called him irrelevant last pod. Now I'm calling him
Hey, he
relevant.
came
This
back
is.
clutch. He put some thought into
All
it.
right.
Jared, you did good. You got Drock glazing you
He
here.
definitely didn't listen. He would have said some shit on these questions. All right. The NBA challenge. Throughout an entire NBA game, you must drink a beer per 3-point made. But there's been like 12.5 average per game. And then
Unless it's a Warriors game.
a
Yeah, I'm
wing
not doing a
per,
Warriors
a
game.
wing per free throw
Wait, 12 and a half
is average right now in the league.
for one team, not for a game.
Yeah, wait, no, that's not. It's
That's
probably
not
like
right.
20.
For a game.
It's not 12 threes in a game, bro.
this is
That's
Jerry's
per
stats.
team.
No,
There's
honestly,
no way.
Actually, it might be.
I think it is.
It actually might be.
Three-pointers
All right, it's not done
made.
yet. It's not done
It
yet.
could be.
It's
On
not done
average,
yet.
because there's some
Yeah.
teams that don't make
All right,
a
it's
lot.
not done yet. A wing per free throw, and there's about 40 per game, average, and then a shot per technical foul, and then each timeout requires 15 push-ups.
Oh my God! If it was a Warriors game, you'd die.
No, by
With Draymond
timeout.
getting the technical fouls and Curry.
Is that a
getting the
TV
threes.
timeout or a timeout called in
I
the
think-
court?
I would say timeout call on the court.
There's like 3 or 4 per quarter. So we're going to get jacked while we're getting fat.
Yeah, I mean,
And drunk.
It's only 15.
I mean, there's no way there's
the
no.
three-pointers made.
I'm down
Here-
to try it. There's no way in hell we do that. Like, we complete the challenge.
40.
What?
Well, like when you go
There's
to like
no way.
Boneless Thursdays at B-Dubs, you get like 40 wings.
You could
Yeah,
get-
but I'm also not doing push-ups.
So
I'm
you
not
could
doing.
do boneless
and-
wings, and you could do cups of beer.
And I'm not mixing in.
You
I'm
do
not
cups
mixing
of beer.
No, I'm saying I'm down to try it. I'm just saying
Not a full
there's
beer.
a good chance that we don't complete the challenge.
That's
but
a
I'm definitely
lot.
down to do it.
Cup of beer,
I
a
know.
small plastic cup, boneless wings, the shot, and 15 push-ups.
I think the NBA team that's playing very much.
Well, we do it for a
Factor,
primetime
yeah.
game, so we do it for a good
It
team.
plays a
Like, if we
factor,
draw
though.
like a fucking Sixers game, Embiid's going to go to the line 25 times himself.
Or
I mean,
like
that's like
the
any
Bucks
star,
or
though.
like the
All the
Lakers,
stars
even
do
the
it, yeah,
Lakers,
bro.
like the Lakers, you're gonna be fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to try. I'll go until I puke. Like, if I end up getting stuck with it, I'm just saying it's gonna be difficult, but I definitely want to do it. Because
All right,
like
that
at the
was
end of
a
the day,
great-
like
that's a great one. I think
there's
we
a
got
chance
that.
you're
Might
eating
not be
50
taking a single shot though.
yeah, but not even the shot. There's also like a chance they make 20 threes.
See, this is a punishment we're definitely going to do, similar to the bowling one. We're just going to hash out, like, the best way to do it. Because, like, the bowling one was fucking brutal, and I yacked in the 7th
Yeah,
frame.
they're gonna be
Like,
cups of
we got to
beer.
figure out
Cups
the
of
best
beer.
way to do it. But, yeah, we could definitely do that. That's
Love
fun.
it, Jared. Great question.
That's
Great
fun.
question.
We'll
You're
definitely
relevant.
do that.
You're
Yeah, we'll
relevant.
have to have just a shit ton of wings ready.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting the boneless ones from B-Dubs, because that's a lot easier.
easy.
Because you can just
Yeah.
shovel them down
Well,
instead
because
of, like...
it could be quick too. Because
Per free throw made, yeah, like a boneless wing, shovel one down instead of, like, eating a traditional wing. I feel like that's
Fuck,
easier.
We could do it this week if
We could do it.
I guess we got to see. We haven't discussed who we're on.
Next place.
Yeah, we haven't yet. We haven't.
All right, let's hop to Garrett. He's got a general question for us. Are the Jets getting T. Higgins and Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, Sauce came out and tweeted.
I saw that. That
He
was
tweeted
ridiculous.
T. Higgins and Calvin Ridley, and honestly, I don't think I want either.
They're not getting both.
I don't want
They
either.
could get... I mean, Pro Football Focus just named the Giants as the ideal landing spot for Calvin Ridley. I don't really want him. He's like...
I mean-
he's 30.
Yeah, but at least it gives you
Yeah, but
a
how
weapon.
how expensive he's going to be, though? That's another question. You know what I mean?
But also,
I don't think they're
it
getting
depends.
both.
I mean, like, you guys do need a wide receiver, though.
I would like
Absolutely.
T.
So do the Jets.
Yeah, but we have Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I understand, but
Like,
you
that's
still
what I'm
need
saying.
another receiver.
No, I understand that, but it's a little bit different. Like,
You need 2 more.
you
We
guys-
need 3 more.
That's what I'm saying. It's a little different between you guys paying Calvin Ridley and us paying Calvin Ridley. Like, I don't want him because we have Garrett Wilson. For you guys to get him, at least it would be like...
Yeah, but it makes more sense given your team's time frame and your win now. Giants aren't
He does,
win now.
yeah.
That's true.
Given the
I
age.
don't know. I
You
just think
like
it would
T.
help-
Higgins would make more sense for the Giants
gotta,
than...
like, win.
I just think no
Within
matter
the
what,
next,
whoever you
like,
guys
2
put in at
weeks.
quarterback next year, you're doing them no favors if you don't get a big wide receiver.
I don't disagree with you, but
So,
yeah,
apparently-
obviously.
Apparently, you're going to the Super Bowl next year. Apparently, to
Who?
the colors.
Yeah.
We are, yes.
Yeah.
And the
So,
Vikings.
And
yes,
the
so
Vikings.
give us Devontae Adams and we're there. I'm
Alright.
still on the Devontae Adams train.
Now he's got a fantasy question. Who's more valuable going forward in Dynasty, Trey McBride or Jake Ferguson?
Jake Ferguson, definitely. Definitely Jake Ferguson.
He's saying that because he's trying to trade for McBride from Garrett. Garrett has both in our league.
Oh, dude, no, Trey
And
McBride...
Reagan wants McBride because he knows McBride is better.
Honestly, like, there's a debate. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Laporta's the definite number one. Like, I definitely think you can make a debate that Trey McBride is the number one dynasty tight end to get right now. Like, he's
No,
that good.
Laporta's number 1, dude.
You might think that. I think it's definitely a debate, like, in my mind, because right now the Lions have so many more weapons there, and the Cardinals, like, Trey McBride might be the number one target next year.
Get your sales pitch out to him.
Well,
So, that's my
to
thing.
your argument, McBride wasn't as good this year.
Well,
You didn't have Kyler all year, I understand.
And Zach Ertz was there for a while. He didn't fully take over the workload till, I think, week 5 or 6. It wasn't for a while, because we were talking about on the pod, like, who's one guy you want to leave? And I'm like, get Zach Ertz out of there.
Zach Ertz played up until week 7.
Yeah, so that's my point. So, of course, McBride's numbers aren't going to be the same. till he took over in week 8, I guess it would be, as a full-time tight end. And he did flourish. And obviously getting Kyler Murray helps, you know. A lot better than Josh Dobbs and Clayton too.
Yeah, McBride. I mean, I'm not saying McBride's not a stud. I still have Laporta ahead.
Yeah,
of
no,
him,
that's
but
fine.
I'm looking at his finishes since week 8. He has 1, 2, 3.
He's been phenomenal. That's my thing.
He had 6 top 7 finishes from week 8 on. So
yeah.
What about Cole Kmet? Jacob Batos, goat.
Yeah, I mean Kmet too. I mean, if you could get Kmet, I would trade both of them and go get Kmet.
He will be better than Travis Kelce according to him.
Wouldn't put it past him.
All right, now he's got a segment or punishment idea. Punishment is loser goes to Cutstown and rushes Lambda Chai out.
yeah, I'm all out of eligibility, my friend.
Well, you just gotta go
Maybe
for your masters.
Maybe for a day.
Masters,
Something
yeah.
like that.
Actually, that would be kind of funny.
Transfer.
Actually, that would be a really good punishment too. You just have to go there and
Get hazed.
because I'm pretty sure they got a new pledge class coming in, so you basically have to act like you're one of the guys there. But the only thing is they probably have to dial back whatever they're doing.
You also can't film kids getting hazed, bro.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Or they can just.
You can't do that.
Maybe
We
for a
can't
day-
get a video out of
Well,
that.
Maybe
the good
just
thing
for a
is
day, do
you're
it.
not a kid and I'm not a kid, so
Ah.
we just tell them to put us through whatever they want.
Yeah, they can put us through like a boot camp, but
Yeah,
you
but
know.
one
Hell.
without alcohol.
Oh,
Or maybe
so,
just
yeah.
maybe drinking the best, and then we're good.
Yeah, promotion.
Alcohol is fine with me.
That's all the
I'll do it.
questions.
All right, guys.
Caleb, Dave, you guys got any?
Yeah, I just saw we're running it back with the first touchdown score in the Super Bowl. Christian McCaffrey is minus 150 right now.
To be the first touchdown?
No, to any time.
God, that was
Sorry,
I was
yeah,
gonna say,
sorry,
my
sorry.
God. Minus
Who would do
150
that?
anytime?
Anytime.
Well,
Minus
you know he's
150.
going to be minus like 400 if they get there.
If you think the Niners are going to win this weekend, just take Christian McCaffrey to score anytime in the Super
What
Bowl.
about score twice? I mean,
I didn't look. I think that's only offering like 1 touchdown right now, but that is his line. Anytime you
Minus
Wow.
150.
You have never seen.
Is that going to be your Drox lock since minus
I-
150
I have-
is usually
I have a-
the-
Drox lock 2 weeks out and McCaffrey to score in the Super Bowl. That's
Yeah,
I just
interesting.
think it's a hot.
How does
take
that
to
work
take.
then if they don't make it? You
You
get the
lose.
loss?
Well,
You lose.
It's like
Yeah,
an
it's
investment,
obviously not
right?
gonna
It was
hit.
just a bad investment if they lose, but it's a really good one if they win.
All right.
He's probably going to score.
What's up?
You guys heard it here first with Drox locks.
Yeah, maybe
That's
it'll
the
be
best
better,
Christian
but
McCaffrey touchdown line you can get.
you'll ever get in the season. In the last
yeah, just a single touch.
so many, yeah.
All right, Dave. Anything else?
No, that's the it. That's
Joe,
not-
Caleb?
It wasn't a question. It
It's
was
just
more of
a
a statement.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were asking what we
Drock
thought
is
about
only
it.
betting. So
All right.
Yeah, I have a question. So the Texans' O-line struggled badly against the Ravens. C.J. Stroud had no pocket protection. He didn't get sacked, but he went 19 for 33 passing and was consistently pressured. Is the Ravens' pass rushing really this good?
Yes.
I'd say so, yeah. I mean, like you said before, they led the league in sacks.
Yeah, they led the NFL with 60 sacks. They have Van Noy with 9, Clowney with 9.5.
And Clowney had a career year, too,
They have-
at 9.5.
Their defensive tackle, his name's really hard to pronounce.
Pierce, right?
No, not Pierce. They had
Oh, Pierce is the run stopper.
he
He's
had
like the
yeah,
370
their
boy.
D tackle had 13.5. And they also can blitz really well with Roquan and Patrick Queen.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
they definitely have options.
Yeah, and that's what I highlighted earlier with Joe Tooney being beat up. Like, the Chiefs need their full unit healthy to protect Mahomes in this one because that pass rush is lethal. Definitely a huge factor in this game because if you can get... But also, Mahomes is so good off script outside the pocket that he can almost negate that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They obviously put a lot of pressure on Stroud, and I fully expect it to continue. But like you said, Matabike.
Yes,
is who you were talking
Matabike,
about.
yeah.
And
Tough
Owe
one.
had 5 as well, so they got guys. Even Kyle Hamilton's a threat from the safety position to blitz in. So, yeah, I think it's legit.
I got one more, guys, so I want to stir the pot here. I'm sure you've been seeing the videos. Address the claims that the Super Bowl is rigged.
So, everyone thinks the Super Bowl's rigged because the color is in the logo, and with this ref being assigned to the Chiefs, the NFL wants Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Taylor Swift.
Well, no matter what, the people that believe, assuming the 49ers make it, the people that believe in the color scheme will say it's rigged. And then the people that believe in the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing will say it's rigged. So no matter what, there's going to be half the world that thinks the winner of the Chiefs-Ravens game was rigged.
Yes, we need
So.
we need the Ravens to win to avoid it being rigged, and also to avoid all the Taylor Swift coverage for 2
But
weeks.
then-
But then the logo that came out.
Yeah.
The
Early.
purple and red.
Oh, it's the
Yes.
purple and red.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
no
what I'm
yeah.
matter
saying.
what,
Unless the Lions make
It's
it, then that
rigged.
throws
That's
it
right.
out.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. No
Yeah,
matter
yeah.
what, we're going to leave the AFC Championship game saying that was rigged.
What a rigged ass game we're
Yeah.
gonna say.
Now that's a draw clock right there.
what do you guys think about the Debo Samuel and the CJ Gardner Johnson beef earlier in the season? Remember when the 49ers got in like that big fight? CJ
Yeah,
Gardner
yeah.
Johnson tweeted out typical wide receiver behavior, then act hard when Trent saved him or something.
Oh, that's so funny.
Well-
I mean, he definitely backed it up this past week against Baker, and it was funny when even though that pick was not Baker's fault, it was funny seeing him run to the sideline and just toss the ball to Baker.
I didn't like it. I didn't
Well,
like
of
it
course.
one bit.
Well, I mean, if you met C.J. Gardner-Johnson down in Nashville and bought him a shot, then you would have loved it.
Hey, I like CJ. He's a former Gator. You know, I always love the former Gators.
But he's a former.
He also was voted by the players as the biggest trash talker in the league, so you knew this was coming. I love it. Just adds extra juice. I hope Debo runs his ass over.
Wow,
That'll be interesting.
that's not cool. I don't think he wants to see you chop ever again.
Yeah, well, I can still do my Gator chomp. I don't need his permission.
Oh,
Oh.
All right, that wraps it up, boys. All right, quick
was
break. We
such
got
a
2
tough
games to
dialogue.
break down. Let's go. Championship weekend.
Touchdown, San Francisco!
You know what would make this even better, Drock? A bottle of worse Manhattans.
And after all, we do bet with the best.
Meanwhile,
Touchdown, San Francisco!
damn it, man! That's the last time I fade drop. Oh, I should have bet with the best.
All right, guys, we are back. During that break, we hashed out Jared's punishment, and we're going to add a little bit of a twist to it. We're getting
No, keep him rolling, We had to do it last time. Oh, no! Like, I mean, you spaz. We're adding Drock, we're adding Caleb to it. I mean, what the hell was that? All right, guys, we're adding...
We're restarting.
No, we're not. We're rolling that. No, do not stop.
Restart. All right, guys, we're back. During that break, we hashed out the punishment for this week. We're getting Drock and Caleb involved. Since Reagan and I both had Baltimore and San Francisco against the spread, Caleb decided to hop on the Chiefs. Drock hopped on the Lions, and we're using Jared's punishment with the basketball. Made free throw wing, made three-pointer that's a beer, and technical foul's a shot, correct?
And
So-
timeouts or push-ups.
Timeouts or push-ups. So we're going to do
15
a
push-ups.
2v2. So no matter what, 2 felt members will be doing the punishment. So thank you, Jared, for the punishment.
Shout out, Jared. That was a great punishment.
Great punishment.
Yeah, like, Jared, thank you, man. Like, we fucking love you, dude. Now, that honestly, all jokes aside, that is a really good punishment. Like, we don't throw around the punishment king title like nothing, but you definitely have earned it. Like, we're already in the works with our merch people and make a punishment king shirt, so.
It's just Jared's fucking face.
It's just like, take the Drox Lock shirt and just put Jared's face with a crown on it, and
Yeah.
it just says punishment king under it. But no, great punishment. I can't wait to see Caleb and Drock doing it.
Me as well. Let's go.
Let's go all with.
Reagan and I are on the same
whole
side
reason-
for like the first time all season.
Yeah, I mean, it helps when there's 2 games, and also that's the whole reason we have to make it like this, because we're on the same side on both, and obviously 2 alpha big dogs aren't gonna back down.
Right.
I thought that you were going to be on the Chiefs, so, you know, we had to improvise a little bit. But it worked out, man. We get 2 new felt members doing punishments, not just me and you, like it was all season.
Yeah.
All right, Reagan, let's break down the Chiefs-Baltimore game. Baltimore's a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under, 44.5. Tell me why you're taking Baltimore to not just win, but to cover.
Well, I switched because I was looking at it, and I'm like, look, they're the best team on paper. They've been playing the best football up until this point. Every time I've doubted this team, they've won. So I'm like, you know what? I'm done fading this team. They're just a good football team. They're getting healthy at the right time. And the Chiefs, they're going the opposite direction. They might be missing Willie Gay, who would be a big factor in stopping Lamar Jackson's legs. And Joe Tooney on the offensive line is another big injury because, like I said earlier, we've seen Patrick Mahomes when he is blitzed a ton, and the Ravens, they're the best at getting home, led the league in sacks, like you said before. So we've seen him struggle before. Like, in that Super Bowl, they got killed, and he was sacked like 5 or 6 times, running for his life. So it's more of a Ravens playing hot, but I am terrified to fade Taylor Swift's Chiefs.
But Reagan, Patrick Mahomes.
Well, that is true too. And I was thinking about it. It's tough, man. I was going back and forth, but I just gotta trust. I guess I'm not really
You're on
trusting
the
my
wrong
gut.
side of the spread, buddy.
I might be. Maybe this is just an excuse for me to go eat some chicken wings and stuff. Wait, what am I on? Wait, what did we decide?
You're on Baltimore.
Oh, I got Baltimore and you got the Niners.
Yeah, I have Niners. You have Baltimore.
Two separate games.
Because
Two
I'm on
separate
for
games.
both of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm confident in both, but I didn't know I got stuck with Baltimore. I would have liked to have been stuck with the Niners. But I've been flipping back and forth with.
Like you mentioned, Caleb, it's Patrick Mahomes. After the upset on the road last week against Buffalo, he's 9-1-1 against the spread as an underdog. And I ended up taking Baltimore because they are the better team. They're healthier. They're more well-rested. And Lamar Jackson is going to get a second MVP. But it's Patrick Mahomes, and that's what was holding me back. Baltimore's defense, number 1 in points per game allowed. Kansas City, number 2. That's why this total is low at 44. Big thing here is that Baltimore running game against that Kansas City defense. Baltimore ran for 220 yards last week, with Lamar accounting for 100, and Buffalo ran for 180 against Kansas City's defense. So if Kansas City can't stop the run early, it's going to be a long day for that defense. What ultimately had me take Baltimore, they have 7 wins over playoff teams this year, and they had the 5th most difficult schedule and still got the number 1 seed in the AFC. They beat Houston twice, they beat Cleveland, they beat Detroit, they hammered Detroit, they beat Miami, they beat the Rams, and they hammered San Francisco. And a lot of those were blowouts. And in those games, Lamar completed 70% of his passes, averaging over 250 yards per game with 17 touchdowns. When the lights get bright in big competition, Lamar Jackson just showed up all year. So, yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes, but Baltimore is the better team right now. I'm going to rock with Baltimore, man. And I like Mark Andrews to score in his first game back.
Don't doubt the Alpha Dogs. Don't doubt the Alpha Dogs. Wait, who was that? Which one of them took the Chiefs?
Caleb
All
has
right,
the Chiefs.
Since you're in on this, why are you taking the Chiefs?
Honestly, because of Patrick Mahomes, and I mean, they just are unstoppable in the playoffs. They're a different team when it comes down to it, but for the most part, I'm in it for the felt fans. I'm in it to potentially drink some beers and slug some chicken wings. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to be a close game, and the Chiefs can definitely cover, and then Reagan's going to have a bellyache.
See, that would be like the worst thing, Reagan, because that hook, the 3.5, really
Also-
bothers me. Like, Chiefs could cover, but Baltimore could still win.
I'm
And you're
fine
like,
with everything he said, but like, I ain't getting no tummy ache. I got an iron gut. All right, so get that straight.
Well, you're a
Wings-
veteran at doing these sort of punishments, so
It don't matter. Anchovies, done that. Cow liver, done that. Fireball, done that. Donuts, done that. Glizzy's gonna do that because my boy looked like he had fun sucking them down. What else?
Were the food ones with you? What else did you do?
TikTok dances, done that. But yeah,
I will say, going through a year of punishments, it'll fucking sharpen you up, man. Iron sharpens iron. We are different men coming out of this season than we were coming in. That's for damn sure.
I'm the toughest I've ever been in my life right now. Like without doing, I don't think I could eat this many donuts last year at this point. So I definitely feel like I'm getting better at
you're on
drinking.
the
So
ups.
All right,
I'm on the come up.
Reagan. Detroit at San Francisco. Niners a 7-point favorite. Over under 51. Ultimately, why did you decide that San Francisco was going to cover the 7?
They're just such a better team than the Lions. Like, I'm sorry. The Lions are such a better team than the Buccaneers, but when they're going to play a big dog, the team I've been calling frauds all year, we're going to see why they're frauds. This game isn't going to be close. It is going to be a blowout. I'm saying 30-13 bad. I think the 49ers roll here. They're coming in pissed off. You know why? They should have been in the Super Bowl last year, but Brock Purdy got hurt. So unless that shit happens again, this team's going to the Super Bowl with a healthy Brock Purdy. Like, I don't know. I just think the Lions, like, it's not their time. And I don't know if it ever will be their time, but I'm sorry, Detroit. You ain't getting to a Super Bowl this year. You're running into the big dogs.
Big dogs. There are some injuries to monitor in this game. Obviously, Debo. Frank Ragnow from Detroit is really beat up, but he's going to
And that's
play.
a massive loss if he does not play.
Yeah, because that Niners front is no joke. Laporta's still dealing with that knee.
They got Zach Ertz.
If
They
Detroit's
chillin'.
going to win this game, I think it has to be the Jahmyr Gibbs show, honestly. I think he would have more success against his team in space than Montgomery will, especially how he looked last week. Ultimately, I came across some awesome stats. Shout out to Jason Logan from Covers for these, because the home road splits for
Thanks,
Detroit
Logan.
is just absurd. The most recent outdoor game that they played was in Week 14, the Lions. They lost to the Bears. Before that, it was Baltimore. They got blown out by Baltimore. They averaged 17.8 points per game over the last 5 in open-air stadiums outdoors compared to over 30 indoors. They will not have that crowd behind them like they did last week when they beat the Bucs, but the Bucs were in that game for a long time. And the week before when they beat the Rams by 1 point. The Niners ain't the Bucs. The Niners ain't the Rams. Now you're on the road. You're in their house. And this team is significantly better across the board. Niners are going to beat the shit out of the Lions on Sunday.
Damn.
And Drock is going to drink a lot of beer, have a lot of wings. We're going to fuck your dry January, buddy. You're coming out with a bang.
I'm just thinking, like, what if this dork with his glasses went up to Dan Campbell and started telling him all the stats? Like, what would he say to you?
He'd fucking
ass
He, like, walks up with his glasses. He's like, I'll have you know, Dan, since week 14, you guys score 4.5% less. But no, I mean, it's the weather will be a factor.
Dude,
like
that's
that.
almost a 2-touchdown differential.
No, I
with
mean,
your points scored. Like indoors and outdoors. Jared Goff has always struggled outdoors, man. That's what got it for me, because I don't think that defense can be able to maintain the Niners' offense. I think the Niners score at least 25 in this game.
Yeah,
at least.
For certain. Dave?
Yeah, you're just a stat nerd. Fuck the numbers. Lions all the fucking way. 7 points is too many points. 7. That's a touchdown. If you didn't know the numbers there. Okay?
Great analysis, Drock.
Me and my boys in Detroit, shout out Z Tong. We're going to San Fran. We're going to shit on these boys. Brock Purdy's a bum. Ayuk's not going to get anything over 60 yards.
Hey, yo!
Bum. The whole team bums. Their defense, ass. The Packers game, they didn't even show up there. 7 points is too many. I mean, obviously, I don't think they get the job done. I think the Niners squeak out the win somehow. But I'm telling you, my name is actually not Drock, it's David, and I'm in relations to David Montgomery. He's scoring 3 touchdowns this game.
Oh.
It's going to be 4th and 3, and you know what? They're going to put their balls on the fucking field. He's going to score on the 4th and 3 in the fucking red zone 3 times. 3 fucking times.
Wow.
I will say, Detroit's path to victory here has to be on the ground. San Francisco has the 6th best passing defense in the league, and I think Jared Goff is going to struggle in the conditions.
And Jones gashed him last week.
Yes, Jones gashed him last week, so I think if they're going to stay in this game, they got to keep their defense off the field, run the football, and stick with it. Because if the Niners get up too much early and it's just Jared Goff dropping back to pass, Detroit's in a lot of trouble. And that's the game script that I see.
I think also from seeing this, I think Drock went to the trash talking school of CJ Gardner-Johnson. That was pretty good. I think he'd be impressed with that.
Thanks.
But that was pretty good.
I mean, man,
7
sucks.
points. It's 7 points.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, it sucks that we're already done breaking down the games. I mean,
that was quick,
remember
man.
when we'd be like
16 games, and
we'd
we're
be
like, man, getting tired of talking
now
on
we're-
game 15.
Now we're at 2.
Now it's 2, and I'm like, I'm
Damn.
just getting fucking started, baby.
Damn. But yeah, I mean, that's so you have it out there. Basically, the 2 guys that don't cover, they'll be doing Jared's punishment together. I mean, they'll both be doing it separately.
The NBA challenge.
Or the NBA
Yeah,
challenge.
the NBA
yeah.
challenge will be happening. 2 Felters will be doing it. We don't know which 2. Depends on the outcome of the games. Could be a different combination. It could be me and Caleb.
Comment below.
Could
who you
be
think you will be
Drock and
doing.
Reagan. Could be Drock and Caleb.
We'll throw a graphic out there.
Guys, comment below. Who do you think will be doing it? Will it be Dave and Colin? Will it be Colin and Caleb?
Well, it can't be me and Dave because we're
Yeah.
going against each other.
Oh, so I guess will it be Colin and Caleb, or will it be Caleb and Dave?
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Because I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But we'll drop a graphic with the full details so you guys know exactly what's going on. And stay tuned for that. It's going to be a hoot and a holler.
Who in the holla?
Damn straight. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week after these games.
Peace.